So Ben Shapiro, unsurprisingly, is upset about Disney's new Lightyear movie that's coming out soon because it has a same-sex kiss scene, I believe, or it at least shows a same-sex couple on screen. I just want to see what he has to say about it and see why exactly he is so irritated about this.
Yesterday, I tweeted that Disney is putting a same-sex kiss in the brand new movie Lightyear. And this is the new Buzz Lightyear film. It is directed at small children who like the Toy Story series. And they've made a very big deal out of this. I mean, it's not like Disney is not treating this as historic. They are treating this as historic. And this is just another great example of the left doing something that is deliberately provocative.
Why is it deliberately provocative in his eyes to have representation on screen? Even if it is a kid's movie, the argument's always like, kids shouldn't be thinking about sex. It's not really about teaching kids about sex. If anything, it's just destigmatizing from an early age that there's a lot more other people out there than their idea of what is normal. Like the default whenever you're born is that you're just automatically straight and you're not gay or transgender or anything other than straight until you're exposed to it in the world. Instead, they just want people to be confused their whole life and not understand how they really feel and not have any outlet or any idea of how to express those things. Whenever they finally come into contact with somebody who has discovered their identity, then they might be more apprehensive to it because they don't know how to deal with that. They don't know how to deal with that internally. They've never realized that about themselves. So there's a lot of weird mixed emotions going on there. Something tells me in Ben Shapiro's world, he's afraid that if his kids are exposed to two women kissing on scene, his kids will automatically become gay.
You just said it is. And they say, well, it is happening and it's good. And if you notice, you're a bigot. And that is the idea here. So I noticed, which according to the left means that I'm a bigot. And I said, maybe you should take it under advisement that the sexual values that the left teaches are not the ones you want your kids to learn from Lightyear the movie.
Come again?
And I said, maybe you should take it under advisement that the sexual values that the left teaches are not the ones you want your kids to learn from Lightyear the movie.
The sexual value that Lightyear teaches is not the ones you want your kids to learn. So Ben wants all media to be what his worldview is. There's no room for any sort of representation anywhere. My qualm with Disney is they act like they want to stand up for certain rights and stand up against racism. For example, there's a lot of criticism to Moses Ingram's character in the new Kenobi series. All I've seen was criticizing how flat her character felt, but Disney was espousing that there's no room for racism. Okay, Disney, well, how about whenever you really wanted to market the movie in China for The Force Awakens, and you took John Boyega out of the promo poster material just so you could appease the Chinese government? When corporations like Disney do stuff like that, it comes off as morally grandstanding because they don't really stand behind what they believe.
Which doesn't seem all that controversial to me, frankly. It seems like, you know, the sort of traditional norm, male-female couple producing children being what is in children's movies. I'm not sure why that is supposed to change or why it must change or why it's necessary to teach small children the prevailing sexual values of the left. Why is that a thing that is necessary? I mean, there will be plenty of time for that later on in life when kids are fully capable of understanding the moral values and judgments that are implied by...
I have a feeling if it was a straight couple that kissed on screen, he wouldn't really have a problem with that because that's traditional relationships. But for some reason, whenever it's representation of, hey, there's more than just straight people that kiss, by the way. I don't even know if it's a kiss. It doesn't even have to be a kiss. It can be like in the Doctor Strange movie where one of the main protagonist parents were a same-sex couple. It was on screen and it was gone. It wasn't even that big of a fucking deal. I have a feeling he'd be up in arms about that because his kids would be asking him like, she has two moms. How would he deal with that? Would he be upset that that was shown to his kid and his kid shouldn't be thinking about there's people different than mommy and daddy? Mommy and daddy are the only kind of relationships they need to be exposed to until they're at an age where they can be exposed to different kind of people in the world.
Or by the choices that you choose to make in your relationships. But doing that with small kids and then pretending that, for example, same-sex marriage and heterosexual marriage are completely equivalent in every way under natural law, morally, evolutionarily. You're opening a can of worms, in other words, that doesn't need to be opened in children's film. And Disney knows this, which is why they are doing this. If you notice this, however, the left now suggests that this is a violation of freedom of speech. Because apparently what they mean by freedom of speech is you must approve everything that we do. If I say, listen, you're a parent, you want to take your kids to see Lightyear? Your prerogative. You're a parent, you can do what you want. I'm not taking my kids to see Lightyear. If I say that, apparently this now makes me a cancel culture specialist.
You are cancel culture. You do that all the time. You get up in arms about all kind of shit, and you make a big stink about it on a huge platform you have, talking about how people should be ashamed of certain things they're doing. Disney should be ashamed about showing a same-sex kiss, which essentially amounts to representation, and destigmatizes to children that there's different kind of people in the world, and that's okay. There's more than just mommy and daddy out there, mommy and daddy's relationship. There can be moms and moms and dads. The sooner kids realize that the world around them is not this little bubble that their family keeps them in, a lot better society will be, because they already have been exposed to that kind of stuff. Obviously, you don't want your kids going to Lightyear and there be a full-blown porn scene or some shit, but let's not act like two women kissing for a brief second in a children's film is the equivalent of a Brazzers clip being shown in a children's film.
If I say, listen, you're a parent, you want to take your kids to see Lightyear? Your prerogative. You're a parent, you can do what you want. I'm not taking my kids to see Lightyear. If I say that...
Okay, so the reason why you're not taking your kids to see Lightyear is the reasoning behind why it would be an issue. The reasoning behind it is because I suspect, contextually, he's afraid that if his kids see a same-sex scene or a same-sex couple on screen, that his kids will then become gay by proxy because they viewed it. He doesn't have the view that, like, his kids can be exposed to that in the world. Naturally, you go to Walmart to shop and you might run into a same-sex couple. Will your kid turn gay then? Is that what you're afraid of? You can't even take your kid shopping because there's same-sex couples out there? I don't see how representing something that happens naturally in the world, like you running into a same-sex couple while you're shopping, getting groceries, that kind of stuff can be represented in children's film because it happens out there.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I'm not calling for Lightyear to be banned. Right? This isn't Saudi Arabia. It's in China. I'm not saying that it should be banned or that you can't, it should never be played in theaters or anything like that. I'm saying that you as a parent get to decide what sort of values you wish to teach your kids, rather than the executives at Disney who have suggested that they wish to deliberately indoctrinate your kids with LGBT values. They say this openly. LaToya Raveneux, who's an executive producer there, she said they have the direct quote, not at all secret gay agenda that they wish to insert in their children's programming. You have the head of Disney literally saying that she has a non-binary kid and a transgender child, and she wishes to expand the roster of such characters in children's programming until it encompasses something like 50%.
I don't think there's much to watch here. I think he's pretty much laid it out on the table, and it's easy to read them. Whenever it comes to just destigmatizing and showing representation in modern media, and yes, that even comes down to children's content, because I believe at a young age, if it's destigmatized, it's better for a society to deal with different types of people as they run into them. It gives off the same energy of like, we can't show black people on film because we don't want interracial couples being represented. Mom and dad are both white, and we believe that only white people need to be reproducing with each other. Disney doesn't need to be instilling those kind of values, interracial morals and values to my children. That's something I need to talk to my children on my own. I don't want this represented at all, and I'm not going to take my kids to go see that. But I'm not saying that it should be banned or anything. I'm just saying I'm just not going to go take my children to see that kind of shit. I think the whole thing is he's afraid that if his children are exposed to it, then they'll become gay or something like that.